March. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm calling the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of March 2026 to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes from our February meeting?
Yeah.
Any comments? Motion to adopt the minutes? Second, all in favor? Okay. All right, so we have one item of old business. It's the rendering a decision on 518 Bridge Lane, application 11 of 2025. We closed the hearing and we've had a decision prepared by our counsel. Everyone have an opportunity to review that decision? Okay. And I won't summarize it. I'll just ask if there's a motion to adopt the decision granting the requested variances.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's been adopted. You give the applicant a copy. Interestingly, she may be back. I don't know. I guess unless she decided to accept the pool variance we granted at the last meeting.
I think she's coming back.
I think she is going to come back. Okay.
So that's a little bit farther.
Excuse me?
Farther away from the house?
She accommodated her neighbor by moving the pool to the west to eliminate the need for a side yard variance, but then questioned whether she could get the pool a little further from the house, farther to the north, which would require a greater variance for the rear yard. I thought that might have been submitted simultaneously with the one
I saw that.
for the driveway, but time will tell.
Okay.
Okay, so the next is a new business, although it's been lingering for a while. It's apparently gone through a number of changes before reaching us, and it's a truly impressive number of requested variants. So who's going to make that presentation on behalf of the applicant? Please, you're up.
And will the record show that I've received the affidavit of posting and name?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Richard A. Hammer from Beyond Hammer, most people call me Andy, representing Town Line Road. Sort of pinch hitting for Eric Braidman. He was the original applicant's counsel. I think Eric is away on a trip, and I either felt very flattered that he asked me to fill in for him, either that or I would punch in the nose. I guess we'll find out at the end of the day. But I'm here with Louise Planning. Stuart, the project architect, is here with me as well. Jamie and her husband Ken are here with me as well. And I'm sure we can answer and respond to any questions you may have based on this.
Just for the record, to proceed, so you're appearing on behalf of 182 Town Line Road LLC.
That is
With
correct.
respect to a property at that address, and it's application number 9 of
Yes.
2025.
Yes, one thing I want to draw the board's attention to, we brought this exhibit just because it shows the overlay of your proposed improvements on the aerial photo. It's very easy to look at, and sometimes it's a little more texture than your typical survey. So, if we can refer to that, it would be helpful for everybody. I also am familiar with the property because I represented Michael and Lisa Schultz on the property next door at 172 Town Line. That was recently approved by the board. I think it was in front of you guys twice. I have full authority to state that I reviewed this application with Michael, or they reviewed the application, and they haven't offered any objection. They're in support of the project in front of the board. As a brief recap, 172 and 182 were both owned and controlled by the same family. Historically, I actually know the family that used to live there. There are multiple points of overlap between the two properties, including shared and encroaching driveways. If you look at the survey, you'll see it's kind of in the middle of the two properties. between 172 and 182. And some of these configurations all create village zoning. The properties are nearly identical. This property is about 5 feet wider than the 172 town line, but they're both under a half an acre in size. It's only 3 acre in Sagaponic Village. Schultz application was a little different, focused on the existing residents, constructing accessory structures, parking, and small additions to the residents. The proposed additions were constructed on the north property line where the existing house was, basically adjacent to this common property line with 182 town line. It's a different approach, but it was still non-conforming. The existing residents met the needs of Michael and Lisa, and frankly, I think it came out beautifully as I've driven by it several times during the course of construction. 182 town line application proposed a redevelopment of the property in a manner consistent with some of the shared benefits of the existing improvements. I want to reference a memorandum that Bregman had submitted before this hearing. I think it was submitted a week or two ago. It goes through every variance, all the requested relief. I don't want to reiterate or parrot it. I'm hoping that we can just have a more brief conversation and really get down to discussion of some of the main issues. The major points that I wanted to highlight on this one is that the residence is proposed to be rebuilt, a new residence 18.5 feet farther from the eastern lot line. That's the front yard lot line of this property. It'll be a total of 53.8 feet from the road frontage. 80 feet is the required setback under the zoning code. And I found the adjacent house at 172 was situated for whatever purpose. It was farther back from inception. Basically, that was the location at 172. This property was much closer to the road frontage. We're proposing parking for the residents within the front yard on this parcel, similar to other applications processed by the board that Eric included in his memorandum. In fact, the road right of way in front of 172 town line accommodated much of the parking for these two properties. I have a store collecting those. I just want basically people used to park in front of 172 to access the two of them. This property had a single driveway that the car was in. It basically was a single lane driveway. You couldn't back around it. So I think they used the adjacent driveway for most of their parking historically. We're asking to retain some of the setbacks attributable to the pre-existing garage that I mentioned. I'll explain a little bit more about that. The applicant is seeking to maintain or to construct what I think is a pretty sensible gate. I believe you have elevations of that and then submission. It's entirely consistent with the village's circulation of historic goods in Sagaponic. As a local parent, I'm painfully aware of several accidents in the immediate area, including Town Line Road. Seems like a reasonable precaution. The gate specs and elevations are entirely consistent with the Sagaponic guide. That's what the village puts out. It's proposed 9 feet from the property line. It's actually much further from the paved surface of the road, 32 feet. So there's a whole lot of access to be open and drive into the property. It's situated at those distances because it'll be operable for getting into the property and utilizing the parking that's designed. The redeveloped residence was sited at a location, as I said, 53.1 feet from the property line. Once again, from the paved surface of the road, it'll look farther back. The existing residence we're proposing, the existing residence is 24 feet in height. The proposed residence is 29 feet in height, still below the allowable height for residents in this district. We're proposing the residence in a location that will require the grant of side yard setback variance along its boundary with 172 town line in a manner consistent with the relief granted in that application in a location that is currently occupied by the detached garage. You can see that in the photo here. I'll just point it out, just make it absolutely clear. That's the pool house. That's the house addition. It's sort of
Just a question. The 172, that's north?
it's south. Right, directly. So this is the 172, and you can see it's kind of in construction mode. Okay. And this is, I guess this is north. So south. The garage structure is and has been an important buffer between the two properties. It's been there for generations. Still provides benefits to both properties as it screens the screened porch approved at 172 Town Line from this property, and also provides a visual and noise barrier between the two properties. Look, the same location for that we're proposing for the residents also requests a small pyramid variance for the one-story extension to the main residence. Its proposed extension that we're proposing is lower by almost 2 feet than the existing garage. It reduces the pyramid encroachment existing from the garage to 133 square feet. Removing the garage also removes most of the use of the driveway that is adjacent to 172 and use of this structure along the property line to reduce the noise and impact from new structures compared to retaining the existing garage. There's some accessory structures we've also requested variance for. One is associated with the pool house, which once again is partially located in the footprint of the existing garage along the south side of the property. We're trying to keep the same feature of the screen for noise and visual applicants provided by the garage and utilize that with the new structure. The applicant also intended to use this pool house that contains a sauna and was proposed near the hot tub as a more year-round amenity. So they wanted it closer to the house so it would be accessible. The other is for the hot tub, which would be 15.5 feet from the southern property line. To make this conforming, it would require a 30-foot setback. This is the best location for the tub that the applicants encountered. It has a clear view of the sky. It's located below grade. It will be screened by the proposed pool house as well as by vegetation. It really hasn't generated any objection from the neighbor to the south. We think that rather than causing a detriment, it's actually a positive introduction and use of this area. It will be invisible to the public and it will also be heavily screened. There are other variances requested for the pool equipment that Darren mentioned. The applicant is pursuing geothermal heating and cooling. It had no noise. Geothermal is great because it has very little noise impact to the neighbors. However, it does require a drain field, which is going to be in the south. This was proposed in this location to be in an underground vault outside of the geothermal well locations. And it's an expensive addition and proposal to build these things underground, but they wanted to do this so it would not be visible and it wouldn't represent any ambient noise in sight, or would be invisible and also would produce any ambient noise in the vault, basically. The applicant also proposed a generator in the rear of the side yard setback. That seemed like a strange variance when I first read the application, but if it's put in that location to avoid the geothermal well and to distance it as far from possible from adjacent neighbors. And I think that becomes more apparent as you look at this aerial photo. The proposed generator is in this location. That's far away from 172's main residence. It's near his pool house. But in terms of the other adjacent residences, it's probably as far as you can possibly get from that. They're also proposing to screen that with sound attenuating fence to reduce the noise. As we all know, I've been out here for many a hurricane. If these things are in use, usually you can't hear them because of the chainsaws. That was my experience as a kid out here. In general, various standards or balancing tests, they seek to evaluate the benefit to the applicant for grants of requested variance versus the detriment to the general health, welfare, and the safety. In the instant case, these variances were carefully designed to not have a foreseeable detriment at all. Many of them actually result in positive aspects of the community, in particular to the neighborhood and the adjacent property owners. Clearly, if you look at the plans, there's going to be an aesthetic improvement of the existing improvements, and we carefully consider other potential impacts. Just hope that we can answer any questions you have or respond to any comments. And if I can't answer it, somebody in the project team certainly can.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. The house, the existing house from the setback on the south property line is how many feet? I don't see it listed. I see red lines, but no dimensions.
Yeah, let's see if I can get it around on your cup.
The existing house was 14.8 feet from the south side of the property line.
What's your name?
Jamie Cohen,
Jamie Cullen, thank you.
And then north line,
19 or 19.1, I don't recall.
Are we talking about the proposed or the existing?
existing.
Okay,
19 feet shown on the survey.
The existing and proposed are the same on the north side. And the biggest part of the house on the south side is the same as existing and proposed. And increasing the non-conformity is by attaching the garage to the house. To the principal structure.
That structure was already there, but it's being converted from garage to a part of the dwelling, but it's at the same setback that it was.
yes, we're maintaining and respecting that setback along the side yard setback. This isn't as clear as it could be, but part of it is because we're overlaying it directly on top. That's the front of the garage, and the rear of the garage is right here, but it has the identical setback.
There was a removal of a portion of that structure between the two pieces. Was that to comply with FAR, or was it just for aesthetic reasons?
I think that
Functional
that
reasons?
small addition, we're talking to the house, it was the extension off of that side, was done to replicate the screening effect of the garage and maintain that wall. That's a structure that won't have any windows looking at it, but I think both 172 and this property benefited from having a garage as kind of a sound like this. That's what I think is proposed there. It's actually a bedroom with plants and a bathroom that fronts up.
I noticed that along the northerly property line, there's a very strong line of cryptomerias, beautiful line of cryptomerias, which are going to be supplemented with sound attenuating fencing. Is that right? What's on the south side? There's no current vegetation there. It's just fence.
We plan on putting sound attenuating fencing on both the north and south side,
Mhm.
from the front of the house all the way back. And then we also plan on putting evergreen plantings at least 6 feet high to cover the sound attenuating fence all along both sides, including the rear yard. We also plan on putting evergreen. What we've learned, we've been living in the house for 2 years, what we've learned is we would like a lot of evergreens at the property, because we're there year round and we like how it looks when it's green. So we plan on putting evergreens all the way around as sort of like a foundation, and then we could put like flowering plants and whatnot to make it look beautiful in the spring and summer.
Future, you should come up and speak so that you'll be,
Sorry,
no worries.
And if she keeps going
I
like
wasn't
that,
planning on.
I'm gonna offer her a job. What do you do mostly?
You did a very fast and efficient run through of all the variances. I'd like to actually see them on the plat so that I can visualize them a little bit better against the survey. So we started with the front yard setback.
That's correct.
And the front yard setback is going to be increased by removing a portion of the frontage of the existing structure and pulling it back in. And is that going to be patio though in front where that was structure?
That the basement light well you're referring to is on one half of the property. The actual line of the structure is gonna be 18.5 feet further back than the existing residence. But the front of this is largely gonna be the parking area as well as the IA system. But there's not gonna be structural encroachments in that area.
And now for the parking, thought the variance application was for 4 parking spaces. So
I believe
There's
that's
three.
considered
Well,
part of our garage.
they seem to be labeled 5. Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, the garage is 1, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, this is counted.
Oh, the garage is 1, and then there's 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the actual parking in the front yard. Outside parking. Okay, I think the others are pretty fine. Where is the geothermal well and
So if you look at that plan, it's page L1001, it shows the geothermal well field. So I think picture of that diagram, which actually is sort of. Yes.
So that's Al zero real two.
You know, there, I see.
It might pass through onto the two.
No, you said second page, you mean second plan of the set?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Al zero zero one.
And you'll see the unit on the rough field, it shows area in here. If you want, I'm showing. Sure, I would love to have. Stuart.
So my name is Stuart Best, who's I'm the architect. I'm just gonna stand off to the side here if there are any,
So another question, where are the local, two wells located? There's two
there
wells.
are 9 wells that are.
9 wells?
Yes, they're 9 well. I don't know that we have the final design for them, but this was the area that the civil engineers depicted as.
And they're horizontally back and forth.
There are 4 along the back, here I can point it out here. There are 4 wells along the back, another 4 wells here to the east, and then a 9th well here. So we just outlined it as a line, but Delandro Andrews, they designed it and that's what they came up with for a footprint.
they're closed or open system.
It's a closed system.
Um,
Do you know what the gallonage is, they're gonna be producing per
So
hour?
we could get
It's
this.
a very expensive system to put in and run and maintain. I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, I don't have that.
Okay.
A huge benefit of it, it's really quiet.
For me, it was worried when they clogged up the sand and they don't work.
well, that's
Like the $1 million one they put in at the library in the last of the year.
That's probably, do you know if it's open or closed?
I mean,
I built one in Waterville that was an open system and became dysfunctional.
Yeah, I think that.
Like Waterhouse.
It wasn't good, and we converted it actually away from that.
So still with the geothermal, where is the well dumping the excess water? Or just putting it through back into?
Oh, this is a closed loop system with
so-
refrigerant, so
So
there's
there's no
no,
horizontal loops, it's just wells.
these are drilled down, they don't run horizontal, they just run
Okay.
straight down.
How deep do they go?
I actually don't know the answer to that, it's not that deep.
Depends how deep the groundwater is.
In conjunction, partially with this, but more with respect to, I think, actually John's question about the basement. What is the water table here at this location?
It's, I think, about 2 feet lower than the bottom foundation in the basement.
12.9 feet.
12.9 feet. There's a section drawing actually shows that it's A301, I think you'll find, if you wanna, I'm pretty sure we notated the groundwater in that.
And so this won't require any dewatering to.
Oh, no, there won't be any water, definitely. One more.
I don't know why it's done that.
There it is. Now for showing, not on this section. I have a computer, I can tell you, but I think it's around 2 feet lower.
There is a test hole on the.
The test, it's on the survey, it said that.
It's on the survey.
The test hole results are on the survey.
Let me see what we do.
So it's 12.9 feet below grade. Just like James said.
Does this have accessible certificate approval for the health department?
There's going to be a new IA system in the front yard.
Is it approved by the health department?
There has been no submission to the health department as of yet.
Might want to work on that.
Yeah, typically
It's
the
a-
health department will not approve it if you require variance, and you get up to a certain point and they'll say, oh, submit, your other approvals from the village. But it has been designed, it needs no variance, it's just eyeballing it, it's a pretty standard IA system in the front yard.
I asked that question, they're not specifically stating which size. You've got 12 feet of water. So they gotta be 3 feet above that. Seems like a lot of pools there, but maybe they're only 2-foot pools.
I'm not sure. I do have the drawings from Delandro Andrews that shows their calculations, but they took into account the groundwater level. So I assume they knew what they were doing.
Okay.
I think so. They're good.
And it looks like it's a 5-6 bedroom system, now they go up in gradations, it's 4 bedroom, 5-6, just looking at the component of the.
How many bedrooms is this?
It's 6 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 2 on the ground floor, 2 on the second floor, and 2 in the basement.
So that means how many bathrooms?
Each bedroom has a bathroom, and then we have 2 half baths. So 6 bathrooms and 2 half baths.
Thank you.
There are 2 pyramid penetrations. And I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to really study these plans, so that's the west building elevation, that's the back of the property. We're looking at, so that's to the south, one of the penetrations from the garage, former.
Yeah, you can see the
pool house.
areas, it would be these 2 structures right here that have 2 pyramid exposures. As I mentioned, the garage itself, these structures are lower than the existing garage, and so this does reduce the pyramid encroachment.
The encroachment is primarily because of the proximity of this structure to the property line as opposed to
That's
the
correct.
height, right?
Yes.
So
I think it's
the peak of that particular shed, do you know what that is offhand? That,
Sorry. I can tell you.
That was like watching Superman changing the thing.
no, so I'm just trying to picture where that is located relative to 172. Would be the only property that will see that, I suppose.
Right.
And it's opposite.
That's it exactly, Pat. I think it's a foot taller than the new building. Did you have that information, Penny? Is it original?
I have
It's
this
about a foot low.
It's about
It's about 2
and a-
foot.
It's
like,
yeah, it's more than-
1.75 or 7 feet, so it is 2 foot lower than the existing garage building.
So the existing garage, the 2 proposed structures that are going inside the existing garage space have the exact same roof line as the existing garage, but they're not as wide as the existing garage, so they're not as tall. They're like 1.5 to 2 feet shorter, but we maintain the exact same. None of the house goes outside the existing house, none of the proposed.
And that was that colored. Oh, you can see it right here, I guess that's this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you're sacrificing some ground coverage for elevation to give you the second story, space again. And the concept for the house, right?
That's right.
2 bedrooms up above. Mhm.
And the 2 pyramid encroachments for the principal structure, it's 133 cubic feet. For the proposed pool house, which includes the sauna, it's 162 cubic feet total.
Okay, we haven't mentioned the gate.
Yes,
I
did.
Oh, you mentioned it.
Yes, I mentioned.
You mentioned up front, but we haven't discussed it. I have mixed feelings about gates, that location. I realize that there are some gates farther downtown line that have been there. They weren't approved by us. I guess they predate us. Gates tend to change the nature or the character of the neighborhood, in my view, to some extent. I don't know if I speak for anybody else on the board.
I technically don't see the gate on the plan.
The gate is a sliding gate, it's not a swinging gate, which makes a lot of sense. Because when I delivered someone to their gated home once, that gate closed and put a nice dent in the side of my car.
We have a gate on here.
There is a proposed gate.
Is this it?
Yes, this is it here.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it, and it's open.
Come back here.
Yeah.
I see the gate now, it's on the front.
And there's an elevation of the
Yeah.
gate as well? Do you-
I didn't see an elevation.
Yeah, it's probably not that.
You do mention them, or I guess Eric from drafted this affidavit support, that we have a statement of support. Mentions that the gate is going to be in materials that are, yes.
Yes, I have a picture of it. I'm just looking for it. And then, of course, as soon as I sit down.
And you did a new print.
These are the variants of gate two.
Yes, it's in there, in the application.
So that's the pond.
I'm sorry, first time I looked at
It
it.
is, no,
This
it's,
is what,
And I know it's a
Okay.
subject.
I can-
that's interesting.
No, I know.
no, but is it one itself?
Yes, we had.
I have a question for John, what is the setback for the gate?
The property with this size would be 20 foot from the property line.
Okay, thank you.
And that is the proposed.
Yeah. Oh, but wait a second. Oh, the slide, it looks like it would be a swinging over,
But it's a slide.
slides.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with the chairman that I'm not a big fan of gates, is because that's a, generally not any fun. Visual barrier, this one looks pretty consistent, has a lot of opacity, it's just designed to contain their children, they have a 2-year-old now?
Yes.
2-year-old, I don't know what you're doing here, you should go home.
Can you clarify the height of the gate, so I don't have to add these numbers up?
The gate posts are 6 feet tall and the center is 4 feet. It complies with the village code.
Just double check it. Thank you.
Well,
As I did mention, there is a lot of unpaved surface of the road, that you can pull off, it's about 35 feet when you count in the unpaved surface of the road, which will allow it to not interfere with traffic when it's in use, basically.
so the gate is 35 feet from the paved surface of Town Line Road.
Well,
I believe it's 32
That's not-
feet.
that's not a requirement in the code is 20 feet.
Yes,
From the 20 feet from the street.
from the property line, yes, so it does not comply with the part setback.
That's where you have the variance request. right?
Yes.
But if you were to move the gate further in, it would encroach on his parking area for the car. Yeah.
Can I just say something about the gate?
Yeah, sure.
So when we bought the house, we didn't intend on having a gate. Sorry, I get choked up every time I talk about the gate. So in July of 2024, after we bought the house, our neighbors introduced themselves. And they were like, and our little boy came running out of the house and they were like, oh, be careful. A little boy just died on this street a couple years ago. And I was like, oh my God, we need a gate.
That accident was attributable to a truck.
Sorry, every time I talk about it, I get really
No,
upset.
That was actually
I
a truck
understand.
backing out of the driveway.
Backing out
It wasn't traffic on Town
I
Line
Googled it
Road.
like
Yeah.
crazy, but
Yeah.
I just
No,
every.
no, I mean, I'm sympathetic. I understand. I can appreciate the concern.
Do that.
I worry about him like running out.
No, I know.
You know. So that's why we added the gate.
These are long leash, just trying to break it up.
The gate from an aesthetic point of view is more minimalistic and rustic. It's just that gates connote suburban as opposed to beach, which Town Line Road traditionally is more of like beach community and open that way, the open spaces. So, and I know that it's been a subject of some concern among other members on the board, which is why I'm focusing on it, so that we don't end up closing the hearing without there having been an adequate discussion of that subject, which then creates a little bit of a dilemma. So I think that we should air the subject.
I do think the location of this and its proximity to the beach there It's a different section of Sagaponic. It's a high traffic area at the end of the day, in terms of the access that it promotes. It's just different than if it were on a shaded street that didn't lead somewhere. I think, in that regard, I'd say the benefit from the grant of variance for the gate does outweigh the detriment because of the safety concerns.
Also, our neighbor directly to the north, 206 Townland Road, has a gate.
Just to add to the gate and everything, it's just the gate, there's no fencing involved near the gate. To the
Well-
south property line or the north property line, correct? I just.
It would be like a wire fence with plantings on either side.
Doesn't.
So we move back to the pool enclosure, you have that.
All that could be back up in the back, I'm saying I don't see the fence line. The pool enclosure fence line. So I'm taking it as the whole property's fenced in, but it
Yes.
doesn't show that.
Okay.
I don't see it. You need to use some fence.
No, well, that's the point, right. So
But it'll be.
Jamie is suggesting, I guess, that there would be wire fencing from the edge of the gate to the north property line and south property line.
On both sides of the gate,
Yes.
there would be a wire fence with plantings in front and plantings behind, so the baby can't get out, basically.
So that raises the question, if the gate were not there, you would need some other means of enclosing the pool, which would mean a fence around the backyard, essentially, at the back of the property, back of the house.
I don't believe this will actually form part of the pool.
No, the pool enclosure starts at the sort of the front line of the house.
Okay, so you do have a fence set back.
Oh, I see the gate.
There's a fence here and here.
Yeah,
I see the gate for the pool. Okay.
yeah, the front of the house is proposed. That's satisfied.
Okay, I see the fence now. This should, just to the front of the house on the east side. The pool thing, which has both fence areas and gates on both sections, north
Mhm.
and south. Okay.
Let's turn to the generator for a minute, okay? It's actually a large open space back there, and there would seem to be other locations that the generator could be located. I understand your logic, that particular location places it as far away from any other structures other than the pool house at 172, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and the generator is gonna be recessed, low grade, or is it at grade?
It's gonna be that great
At grade?
with
But-
sound attenuated.
Do we have any acoustic information for the sound from the generator with the?
No, but I can certainly get that for you. I'm very familiar with the material that they use. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. Basically, you can take standard stockade fencing and put this material, they tack it in. And it doesn't sound like, if we were talking in the room, you could tell the difference if I had a sheet of it behind me. It's very effective.
And Schultz is aware of the location of the generator
Yes, yes,
and hasn't had any objection to it?
yes.
Okay, and the property to the west, their
Driveway.
pool is the only thing, and it's actually the opposite side of the property.
Yes, it's red.
And the setback for that is 20 feet, correct? John? Yes, okay.
This is the neighbor's driveway right here. Yeah.
Actually, Rich, it's 30 foot because this is an R120 district.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 30-foot setback, which is shown on the plan as well.
The required setback is 30.
Yes.
I can remember if it's 20 or 30.
All right, let's see.
I do know that putting a generator in a vault is not advisable either.
Because the fumes, the accumulation of fumes.
Don't hear it,
Generators,
run it.
It was a
Oh,
fire.
it's 10 and a half on both
Oh, that
sides.
was in-
This one has it, so it's 10 and a half, 10 and a half.
Igniting, so.
One more question on the area of the existing house. What, I don't see it written down. What was the existing square footage? And existing square footage of this, it has a second floor on it now. So what's the total square footage? I see the new proposed is 2860.
2860 is the
So
current proposed.
Yeah, I don't have that value on the plan.
It's just, my question is, the question I'm asking it is because you are right on the pyramid wall border. So.
Right, we designed the
You
house
gotta
to
have a
come
good
right up against
surveyor
the
and a good
envelope.
builder to make a lot,
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
because that's happened before here too.
As a matter of fact, the updated COs don't lift the square footage of it's calculated.
So, getting back to the generator. I know we're not supposed to do this, but you wouldn't consider putting it in the front yard by the cesspool system, would you? I don't know, generate all the problems with neighbors.
You can consider anything that would, you know,
And then you wouldn't have to look at it in the rear yard. I don't know, it's just seems
I don't know where they're
more
allowed to
costly
go,
to
that's
put
where
it back
Delandro
there.
said to put it, so that's where we put it, and that's where we put it.
No, just my, that's my, you know, it's gonna cost more money to put back there, whether,
I was actually wondering why it wasn't close to the pool equipment, which would seem to be a logical location.
That's where Delandro put it, I have no answer for you.
and then when you're blocking everything, you block it all at once instead of having
Several different.
a different detail. There is,
I think
there's
there's a-
pictures of landscaping, there's no landscaping plan per se that I see.
I do think the location of the generator was largely based on where it's the least amount of detriment to the neighboring properties, irrespective of the cost, and that seemed to be the best location in terms of keeping it away from every principal and accessory structure, or from anybody that may complain about it. Keep my generator running, hopefully never.
They run once a week.
Yeah,
They run testing, and I appreciate the concern about the placement with respect to neighbors, as we've had applications here where the generator is as far from the applicant's residence as possible and right on a property line with 3 neighbors. So.
Well, it's more, my question about the placement of the generator is about, here you have a street within 15 feet of your property line. The cars are noisier than the generator. Than what it would be back. And you still have to get you don't want to put it in the center of the property, so you have to ask for a variance in the rear yard. So you still have to get a variance in the front yard. That's my only added input on the generator. And the other part is, I assume the electric's coming in from the front street.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone here wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to any of these requested variances? Any other questions? We cover the ones that we're going to be asked to render decisions on.
So another question is, the drawing has the stairway and it's 10 steps. So that's 50 feet, the elevation of the house is 50 feet higher. The garage, the entrance.
No, there's a 6-inch differential. just 6 inches.
So what did he set, oh, down, okay.
Let's go down, that's a light well. And then
That goes into the basement. I just read down, thank you, excuse me.
All right. Any other question? Anything we want to further the application open to? Whether we close or not today, would you provide some sound acoustical information to the generator?
Absolutely.
Other than that, I don't have any further questions. Anybody else? And there's no further documentation that we need to have submitted. We can decide this upon what's required. Well, without taking this case, and I motion to close the hearing.
It will be left up to you.
Yes, except with respect to the submission of the signed attenuation fees. Anything
No
further?
letters from the neighbors, right?
No, we have oral testimony from Mr. Hammer that Mr. Schultz, who he's represented in the past, has no objection to these applications, including the generator. Who would be most affected by the generator.
That was in January.
Mhm.
The January?
The Schultz application,
Yeah, they came here first in January.
I don't
Twice, I
know.
think for the second time, it was January, yes.
Okay.
And it does look like a pretty nice job that he completed. The
Yes.
Process is complete. That's something on my mind. Oh, on the gates. You want any further information about the gates? Do you think that this is this in the record? This.
That
We
was
didn't
part
have
of
it
the-
off.
That's on our website, but this is what he added for this is
Okay.
the choice that they're gonna.
Okay.
So I guess there is more questions about the gate. Because you keep referring to the street property line from the edge of the pavement. And I assume it's 20 feet 5 inches to your property line. And then it shows the gate is set off the property line. I don't know what that dimension is.
9 point.
The gate post is 9 feet from the front of the property and the actual gate is 10 feet.
Okay. So all in all, where you're trying to say it's 30 feet from the edge of the road.
From the edge of the pavement, yes.
And the
I was
road
just
is
seeing
here.
if a car is gonna fit in that. If
It is,
if
that
we
is
do
apparent
grant
on
the
the survey. that
this for that or not, no.
It does locate the edge of pavement on the survey, and that's where we pick up that extra buffer zone.
Okay, I would not see it feasible to move the gate further to the west to get it through from the frontage without encroaching on the parking.
Circulation, yes, and the parking, that is shown on the plan.
We good?
You know, it's just that you also now consider the parking. It's gonna be difficult to get, if you park 3 cars there, to get in and out of that driveway. Because it's the radius turn there, it's very temporary, especially with the fee.
Well, the space which is designated as number 5 is probably gonna end up being a turning area more than parking space.
And then reference to that, which I didn't see, is, I don't know how you can park there at all.
Motorcycles.
I think it's overflow parking.
Smart car.
No, I understand that, I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Well, you're
showing
legally,
4 spaces out in front, but
it's a
other
6.
people have argued there's not enough room to add the 4 cars in this design that you have now and make it accessible. That's all I'm trying to add to the application.
The requirement for parking spaces is dictated primarily by the number of bedrooms in the house too. So they have to have a certain number of parking spaces, whether they are practically usable or not. Right?
So, John, Wisdom maybe could refresh our memory about the 6 bedrooms, how many cars is allowed in the area then?
You would have a requirement of at least 5 parking spaces for a 6-bedroom house.
Okay.
Right, so that's why they need that designated.
So the application also doesn't have a variance for parking, right?
Does, on the front yard.
For the location, not the number.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I've been away for a month or so and I didn't have time to look at all the plans.
Okay.
I think we're good for now.
I think, what?
The downstairs bedroom.
Yeah, they have the light well.
Yes.
That means of egress from the basement bedroom. And with that light port too, right, with that's accessible from those bedrooms. I'm sure that's legal.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The front of the house, the 2 bedrooms are on that.
That sunken well also requires variance.
As a structure within the area variance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
It is below grade, but it's structure.
yeah. That's not uncommon. All right,
Okay.
okay, then I'm back to entertaining a motion to close the hearing. Except for the submission of the sound attenuation information with respect to the agenda. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second? All in favor? Is there some reluctance to close the hearing? Somebody's waiting up to discuss or address any of these variances in further detail before we close the hearing? No. Okay, then all in favor of the closing the hearing? Aye. Aye. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, there being no further business before it, I'll take the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Sure.
So.
Well, I was surprised you got raised. But
I'm married. Do you remember me? Sebastian?